Thank you, Ms. Veena Sarup, for introducing the session and also the speakers. Good morning to my fellow panelists and the audience. Most of them are academicians. I could be odd man out from industry, but nevertheless, let us share what goes in skill and the leadership. I have only 2 points to address in this presentation. The first is the fast changing scenario of the world and so in the industry. This is known. We have seen yesterday's deliberation, something. So everything is changing fast, and so is the industry requirement. And if you want to keep the pace with this change, you have to run very fast, even if you want to be where you are today. If you want to lead, then you have to be still faster. That is the challenge. So to meet that challenge, what could be the skill development and the leadership qualities requirement for future industry? You see presentation yesterday also I saw something different. You see the right side, a pencil. It has taken the shape of tree. And the gears of various sizes are either looking like flowers or the leaves or the fruits. This is the change. So how to cope up? To cope up this change, focus of today's presentation or today's session is on energy sector. So we'll be focusing on energy sector, why we need such a requirement or such a change, meeting the change requirement of the energy sector. Speciality of energy sector is very high, particularly with respect to yesterday's presentation on the global warming. The energy sector has to play a very, very definitive role if you want to really cope up with the future existence of the humankind. We are going still more. So therefore, energy sector is very, very important sector. And changing scenario faster than anticipated, which I was giving the punchline, too rapid pace of digitalization, automation of processes, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, digital twins, and IoT. If you see our areas where we come from that, what you call baby boomer stage, it wasn't there actually. Now it has gone further high. So this topic is very, very suitable for the youngsters and the school and college children, other than the leaders which have to come up. Aging workforce. As I was talking, the baby boomers born between 2024, 46 and 64, they will be retiring completely in 2024. So we have either Gen X, Y, or maybe millennials. Their attitudes, yeah. So their thinking process changes. The demographic changes, if you see, has really grown very fast. Earlier, the gap between one gen to another gen was almost 20 years. It has now come down to almost 14 years. So the thinking process of the new gen is going very fast. And it is leading to industrial entrepreneurship and also the result and the product. New thing coming up. I was talking yesterday, we have only 6 resources of energy. It came out, let us have 7th source, that is synthetic fuels. This is the thinking process, where the skill and the leadership has to really cope up with the upcoming requirement of the industry and indirectly the humankind. Preparing for VUCA. So VUCA is basically to make you ready for very uncertain environment. We used to talk, if you want to make a, let's say, execution time schedule, you do not know what is the activity time. You work out for a particular time. There is a formula. This is also because very, very volatile situation, uncertain environment, complex situation, and ambiguous. This VUCA system will not be able to make you ready for a long-term planning, because you don't know what is happening after 1 year or 2 years. So one way we are going for a long-term planning, 50 years. We say net zero by 2050, 2070, planning such a big. Second, we are encountering this kind of volatile situation. What do you do actually? Here comes the skill, here comes the leadership to cope up with that kind of uncertainties. Paradigm shift of business management, what to do, to what skill do you have? Earlier system, you recruit the people, then mold them in the situation of the work. You must have seen the recruitment process of the IAS, the defense personnel, and industries. and academia, different. If you have, some of you will be trying, if you go for military or defense service, they do not want any kind of ratification. They want your thinking process very clean and meet the WUBA syndrome. So they will give you some pictures and you cut it or make it answer. Even if you do not have a very high communication skill, you are through. But in IS examination, if you do not have a proper communication skill, you are nowhere. Even though your mind may be very good actually, you are creative. That doesn't work. For industry, earlier it was basically what job knowledge you have or what technical knowledge or your academic knowledge you have. For HR, for industries, for engineering, so on and so forth. Now it is changing now. He says, what skill you need, do you have to have that skill? Then come up. One of my friend, he says, he's heading one of the industry, he doesn't put his initial as Dr. so-and-so. He says the industry people feel he is a doctor, he is a learner, he may not be coping up with the industry requirement. And if you do not have a doctorate in your front name, you are nowhere good in academics. See the change. He has doctorate, he doesn't write it because he wants to give a different message to the industry. This is the requirement. Change in technology, high attrition rate, worldwide skill shortage, and transition from traditional to innovative learning method. This is very, very important. So if this change is coming, then what are the forces of change? Starting from workforce, technology, big changes, economic shocks, as you have seen the sourcing of coal, oil, sourcing of oil because of Ukraine war, economic shocks, competition, new technologies coming up, new entrepreneurs coming up, social trends, and world politics. These are the forces of change which will impact the entire outlook of the industry. Now, based on talent management, what do you need for energy sector? Skill profile. You have to first understand what kind of skill this job is required. Profile it. Then have the interview. After having profiled it, that you need this kind of person. So therefore, to young student, if you do not get selected for a particular post, don't get disheartened. Because the profile he has drawn may not be matching with your profile. You may be very good in another profile. So this is actually the requirement of the job, not the absolute marking of your own skill or your caliber. It is not so. Input profile, underlying skill data together, way to organize the data, visual. We will come on the skill profiling helps in skill planning. Then link people to the similar profile. Then link people to the role of projects. Then you have skill-based talent management, identify skill required for the job, hire the people. That's what is coming, that even if you are not getting selected, don't dishearten. Develop that skill set for you. So therefore, you have to plan as to what profession you want to pursue. Prepare yourself for that particular work. That is the need of the time. Skill-based talent management is not an HR concern, it is a whole company's concern. So supposing we are selecting people, HR person is sitting, everything he cannot do. Because it is the high-skilled areas. In high-skilled areas, the people who are the functional head, their role is equally important. Flowchart, business strategy, skill assessment, recruiting, workforce force, benefit to employees. Now, what is benefit coming up to you is increase career mobility. If you are a skilled person, you can go anywhere because industry wants you. Recognition for contributor, not background-based. Earlier you say anybody who knows how the seal is prepared, he is here required. He said, no, you can create that person. He should have the basic skill, instinct. Future-proofed career. So if you are having skill, you can go anywhere. Benefit to the employers, increase organizational agility, greater employee engagement, improve organizational alignment, and future-proof workforce. Because the agility is very important, how quick we move. You have seen the new changing paradigm for energy sector now. The fellow who can really create a new trend in living in hydrogen even, he is a successor. So this is what is coming. Organizations that cannot connect skill to work are at risk of being outplaced by those that can more rapidly deploy mission critical talents. VUCA I have already told you. This is preparing yourself. This is what you should actually think of. Think of means our aim must be clear. Like there are two examples here. One is Israel. They do not have oil and gas. But if you want to have the expertise, nothing better than Israel. Can you imagine? In one of the instances when we started CNG in India, they came with an absorbent system of transporting gas. I just asked them, are you having gas in your country? Well, no, but we know how to do it. That is one area. Secondly, you can create not that kind of skill, but workforce. So they can work anywhere. Trinidad and Tobago case. There are two case studies here. So it is not necessary that your country has that skill, that requirement. The skill is in here. You can develop those kind of skill. So here, skill shortage. Where are the skill shortage now? We have the skill development, leadership development. Shortage number one, education and training. These are shortage. Because of this shortage, there is no proper education and training. More colleges are opening, but you need really the training which comes that. Yesterday you have seen Mr. Misra to say that vocational training comparing for the industry and immediately you should go for industry, otherwise you'll forget it. Human memory is not very, very large actually, very strong. You'll forget about 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So immediately you should pace it. So this is one area, and therefore you have find here skill development for mining, skill development for green hydrogen, skill development, so many things. The government is giving that initiative because this is one of the very important 41% lag, if you want to develop. Inadequate succession planning for knowledge, transfer skill retention, strict immigration laws, not available. Suppose you want to hire somebody which is not being allowed to come in India, you will not be able to do it. Then loss of expertise due to aging workforce. We reappoint them, but how long actually? This big problem in reappointing. Those people who have retired, they know, even if you serve the same organization, you are in the different position. Now you are an advisor, different position. After 1 year, you will leave it actually. Because there is always a personality which you have developed during your career. So you will not be able to adjust in lower grade. So this is another problem. Then we have how to identify the gap. Shortage is there. Region of shortage is there. How to identify? Examining your business strategy, because the gap analysis will be differing from area to area, industry to industry. Note what professionals are required for your job. Describe what professionals are required, then describe what skill you need. So that is, this onus lies on the person who is hiring the skilled people. Then make a list of the skill existing professional in the industry. Compare these skill twists and calculate the skill gap and fill the gap by bringing them in your organization. And if there is a difference between your required skill and the skill available in the market, then train them. Simple. So what happens actually? Effective approach to address the oil and gas skill gap or energy sector. Training, very important. That's why you have seen so many studies. 64% you can create by training the people. And so therefore, engineering colleges, professional colleges, IITs, and all these energy sectors, you have got Dehradun, UPS, you have got RGPTI, Raebareli, you have got PDPU in Ahmedabad. So many. I mean, of course, your institution. Then hire people with transferable skill from other side industries, quick replacement, and partner with the college to attract top graduates. Interesting. You have the placement in the colleges, lunch, initiatives to hire more women. Of course, in our panel you have good number of women. So they have more belongingness. I mean, one of the traits which I will be giving what skill, but the skill number 11, I want to push with the permission of the panelist, that ownership. Ownership is very, very important actually. If you go in college, if you go in your any institute, if you go in any organization, if you have an ownership right, you feel that the organization belongs to you, your 50% success is assured. That is a skill. Because how you inculcate that ownership and demonstrate that ownership is a real skill. So when I describe the total skill required in the industry, the 11th will be the ownership right. You must have that. Skill development and capacity building, this I can skip. This comes now, that important skill. I said 10 commandments of the skill. Number 1 is adaptability. How you will be able to adapt yourself or to make yourself good, comfortable in the changing environment. It may be the salary, it may be the working environment, it may be the even change of your job assignment. How you really have that. This is the first skill which I feel. Communication skill, as I told you, IAS, best communication skill. They are trained in a different direction. There may be some people who have IAS, but excuse me for my comments. They are trained after selection in a different pattern. They say you are superior. Don't get ownership pride. So if an IAS officer is transferred overnight, second day he can leave. No problem. But if an engineer is transferred, he will have a lot of things in his drawer. He said, I need 4-5 days to come. This is the difference. Project management is actually your skill of that particular profession. You may be mechanical engineer, civil engineer, chemical engineer. So that is what your project, that means your professional skill. And how timely you can execute the job. You may be very skilled, maybe double PhD, but if you are not able to work in the industry, then project management skill fails. Critical thinking. Now today critical thinking is how to really go for net zero emission. Critical thinking. People will come up with new ideas actually, even biogas. New idea. Making energy from the CO2, new idea. So this is called critical thinking. Problem solving, simple one. Leadership. Leadership is one of the skill actually. It's not an absolute trademark. So leadership, if you remember, there are two aspects. One is absolute leadership, another is OLQ. Both combine the leadership quality. OLQ means officer-like quality. What is officer-like quality? Is the one when the circumstances dictates, do other job which is required in front of you. Suppose there is a fire going on. How actively you participate and lead. That is the combined leadership. You have to lead. Then time management. Team player, because some people want to be leader only from the front. They will not be able to participate as a team player. But here it is skill, how you manage with the team. You may be the goalkeeper, may not be front player. So you should be happy in that. That's called team spirit. Any role which fits in your skill must be done. Then global thinking and conflict management. These are the 10 commandments which I have placed here. And these commandments will dictate here actually, if you see here the selection. The top one is first define what skill you need. Every skill is not required actually. And there will be a person difficult to find all the 10 skills. So you suppose what you want, number one top, this is what I want. Then map is how much you want. Then select it, third one. Then train it, because there must be some incompetencies that your requirement of the organization, train them. Then place them, then assess and replace. This is the system of recruiting people in the present day context, not earlier as anybody would do any job, but now you need a specialized person for doing a specialized job. This is a marking. Supposing you are to assess your people, there are two axes, performance x-axis and potential y-axis. If you see here the top one, he is a high potential but low performer. He has high potential, but he is not performing. I think industry may be ward off. And last, you see last one, high performer but low potential. Industry may feel, yes, it's good because you are not performance. So your job will come down. The strategic job which is given will come down so that performance is not debarred. Similarly, the best is X3, Y3, high potential, high performance. So this is the McKinsey's model. You can change it. This is your skill development. This is data management. Today, क्या हो गया अपने खत्म हो रहा है? चेयरमैन डायरेक्टिव हो गया, मैं खत्म कर रहा हूँ. Last slide. It happens, na? This is okay. This is data management. Actually, today, if you see three, top is your policy makers, left side is academia, and right side is industry. So you have to balance between these three. Some problem? Okay. So the balance three means the government gives a directive on the top. Today, just they have given the hydrogen mission. Academia has to prepare to teach the people, and industry have to absorb them. नहीं खिसक रहा भाई. Proposed model छोड़ दें, Indian initiative. Okay, I think this my other fellow colleagues will comment. So the government of India has taken very, very nice initiative to skill the people. There are many institutions, many vocational institute which are imparting training. Other my colleagues will give you the lecture, but only thing, I still repeat, the skill is very, very unique thing, but it may be inbuilt in the individual or it may be inculcated. Both is possible. So with this now I think I conclude my address to you and look forward for getting more and more skill. Thank you very much.